Hey, what's up everybody? This is Suburbs501 and today I want to go over the lowest recoil version of the SA-58. So we're going over the juice cannon. Now first I'm going to go over every weapon part that makes up the lowest recoil version of the gun. Then I'm going to give some different variants that I would personally use if I was using this weapon. And also for all of my weapon builds from now on, I'm going to have a link in the description to Tarkov Gunsmith, which is a really good site where you can create your own builds, put every single piece you want in the build, and it'll actually tell you a pretty updated price of the flea market price of every item, and then it will also give you all the different stats, so vertical recoil, horizontal recoil, ergonomics, stuff like that. It's a very nice tool because it's telling you the flea market price, and I think that's a much better way of showing the price than just going over every vendor price, because so many new players and so many just older players that don't like doing tasks, that don't have all the vendors maxed out. I don't have all the vendors maxed out, so I think it's a better baseline to set of seeing all the flea market prices than possibly having the option to buy it from a vendor. So first we have the Vityaz-SN V4 and then we have the EOTech HHS1 for the sight. Now I'll probably be saying this for pretty much every weapon build, but if you don't like the HHS1, just use whatever sight you like using, because the HHS1 just shows that it has a recoil reduction on it, so that will give you a slight recoil reduction, but it's not going to be much to where you're going to notice a lot, so use whatever sight you like. Personally, I don't even use these that much anymore, so just use whatever sight you want. Next, we have the DS Arms Extreme Duty Desk Cover. So next, we have the DSA BRS stock, and this is one of the reasons that I think the SA-58s are one of the best meta weapons right now. Besides the ridiculous bullet that they use, they're actually pretty cheap to build, even if you don't have the correct vendors to buy a lot of these items, because say if you go with a lot of the AR-15 platforms, you're going to be going with the MK-E1 stocks, I think they're called, which are usually over 100k on the flea market, and this stock right here, which is the best for this weapon, is only like 15 to 17k usually, so it's a really cheap, at least for that part. For the pistol grip, we're using the Fab AG FAL pistol grip, then we're using the 21-inch barrel, and for the magazine, I personally like the 30 rounders because you're usually not going to be spraying this thing as much as say an M4 or something like that. The 30 round mags don't reduce the ergonomics by a ton, which is one of the worst parts of the weapon, is the lower ergonomics. A lot of people still use the 50 round mags. It's not super big of a deal. It's pretty much preference. I personally like the 30 rounders though. Now we will be using the Vityaz-SN V 5-inch guide to be able to put a grip on this. And like I've said before, the Zenit RK2 is the lowest recoil grip you can possibly get, but I personally go with the RK1 if I'm running these full builds, because it doesn't add a ton of extra recoil. It's just adding 4 vertical when switching to the RK1, but it adds 6 ergonomics back to the weapon. It is the grip that sticks out the side. It's usually a little bit cheaper in my experience, and it doesn't add a lot of recoil, but it does add quite a bit of ergonomics. So that's personally what I would be using over the RK2. If you like full recoil reduction, maybe you're playing on a longer range map without a lot of tighter corners, the RK2 might just be better. Next up, we have the Atlantic Blast Mitigation Device. Then we have the direct thread adapter for the Atlantic Blast device. Then we have the Atlantic Dragon muzzle brake. And I think it's only the 7.6251 weapons that have this addition of adding 2 extra parts to then put the muzzle brake on the end, which does help because it does reduce the recoil of the weapons that have them quite a bit. So next up, we have the tactical device. Now I'd usually always recommend having one of the IR tactical devices because it's very hard to see. You pretty much can't see it, so it's not going to give away your position, and it gives you that increased benefit when hip firing. And I would never recommend using a laser pointer, because if you don't know, laser pointers shine through doors a lot so people can see you. If you're shining one down a hallway, it's pretty easy to see one. If it's on any wall, they're pretty easy to see. They're actually incredibly easy to see just in Tarkov in general, so I never recommend using one of those. You're going to get yourself killed. I can't tell you how many times I've killed fully kitted guys just because they have a laser pointer on and you can easily see where it's coming from. So we're going to be using the Vityaz-SN V 2-inch guide, and the reason we're using this 2-inch guide is because I like having my tactical devices on the right side of the gun. You can put them on the top or whichever direction you want to put them on. I just use that guide to put it on that side. Then I'm using the Zenit Purse 3 tactical device. It's a pretty cheap version of the tactical devices. Not many of them are really that expensive anyway. And that's pretty much the entirety of this build. Like I'm pretty much going to say for every build. There's a lot of variations of different weapon parts, especially if you don't have the dealer rank to get the best pieces. There's a lot of different weapon parts that you can switch out for some of these best weapon parts that are going to be pretty similar in performance, but have a massive reduction in cost. So if you're a newer player, don't have all the max dealers, don't have a ton of extra rubles to spend, and you want to spend the least amount of rubles while getting a really good weapon, definitely just look around at the different parts. Like I said, there's a ton of different parts that are going to be ridiculously cheaper on the flea market, but don't have a massive reduction in the overall performance of the weapon. So subscribe if you want to see more EFT videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about the lowest recoil SA-58, and thanks for watching.
Нехороший вы, блядь. Левый коронный, правый похоронный. Вон он, сука. Давай, мочи! На, блядь, слышишь? Вот хуй! Ах ты, падла! Вон, вон! Да... Башка болит. Бухать надо меньше. Гоп-стоп, мы подошли из-за угла. Кепка, кепка! Ваша кепка! Пидоры! Вон он, упырь! Вон он, сука! Ты говно, жопа! Вот хороший вы, блядь, человек. Чё, забыл, что тебе батон в будку закидывает? Ах ты хер ебучий! Хуйло! Конец тебе! Правый похоронный!
Лизана, козёл!
Эй, ты куда пошел?